everybody? We are back, but a little bit different style of video today. We've been working with Max Motors here for quite a while now, buying cars, building Explorer STs over there at the dealership, and it's kind of led to this moment right now where Max Motors wants me to take a vehicle from their lot every week and do sort of like a review on it, but with my own little spin. The Less Eco More Boost reviews featuring Max Motors of Richmond, Missouri. And we're gonna start this one off with this molten magenta metallic S650 Mustang GT. It is a convertible. It's got the white interior in it, and I want to show you some of the neat little features that this Mustang has. We're going to go for a drive. I want to try to showcase the paint to you the best that we possibly can, because it is a very unique color, and I think it's a new color for the Mustang GT. So let's start. Let's take a look around this car, and let's get started. All right, let's start at the very front of this Mustang GT here. I think that this one probably has what they call the black accent package. It's what I had on my 19 and my 18 Mustang GT. And I love how they blacked the front of this vehicle out. I love the heat extractor up here that's also black. Also comes with the factory black wheels over here with the Brimbos that stop amazingly. One of my favorite features is being able to stop on a dime whenever you need to. The convertible's super clean on this vehicle too. And I'm not saying that this interior is necessarily my style. I'd probably have black, but I can see where folks would really, really like these seats in the color that they are. They're actually super comfy. You know, you got the heated, the cooled. It's got the black 5.0 badges on the side of this thing, along with the black mirrors on it. And it does have just a little bit of a spoiler back here on the back of the car. Nothing too crazy, just a little something to give it a little more pizzazz in the back with the black GT badges. This thing also has the active exhaust, which I do love. It can go from absolutely quiet, if you're worried about waking up your neighbors in the morning, to really aggressive. And that is one of my favorite parts as well of this vehicle. You know, especially if you didn't want to mess with having to put an aftermarket exhaust on it, it sounds absolutely great from the factory. All right, under the hood, you guys already know this is the best American V8 that's ever been produced and put into a factory vehicle. We have the 5.0 Coyote, and the S650s, they started doing these twin throttle bodies, twin intakes, and I believe factory these come with like 480 horsepower, but in this instance, Ford says since this has the active exhaust, that it should be making around 486 horsepower. So, to the crank, not the wheels. Not really sure what the wheel horsepower is. We're not going to put it on a dyno, but I do like the look of the twin intakes. I think it looks pretty badass. But yeah, this is what we got under the hood. I think one of the biggest updates that folks already know about that is really clean is the gauge cluster and the screen that just wraps around from right in front of you over here to the side, and it's kind of angled more towards the driver. Back here in the gauge cluster, you can do the track app, so you can do acceleration timer, whether that's going to be your 0 to 60, your quarter mile, even you can do 60 to 0. That's pretty cool, and 100 to 0. A lot of people don't actually do that when you have your lap timer. Then what's cool is you have your launch settings, and from here you can enable your launch control, and then you can set your RPMs of what's feeling good at the time, where it's leaving, where it's spinning, where it's not spinning, and get your launch dialed in. So that's pretty cool. Your shift indicator, you can set that up to where it gives you a shift light or even a tone, and you can set that at what RPM it starts giving you a shift light. And this thing looks like it'll wrap out at 7,200 RPMs, which is pretty impressive for a factory stock vehicle. So that's pretty wild. I like how when you get in here, you can hit this Mustang button down here, and that brings up your Mustang. You can have your track apps, your auxiliary gauges, and this custom mode here is really freaking cool because you can set your own profile up of how you want the car to be whenever you get in it and you start it up. And so profile 1, you can have this thing in track mode, you can have the steering wheel in track mode, which really tightens it up. And it has a few different options on the steering wheel. You can go for comfort, you can go for like sport, and each one of those modes is going to stiffen up the steering wheel and make it just a little bit tighter. This is where your traction control button is if you don't feel like turning it off down here. You have your active exhaust right here that you can make either really quiet or really soft. Your auto start stop is in this screen. And one of my favorite things about this Mustang right here is being able to change the clusters as far as your gauges go. And what's neat about this is you can go all the way down to like a 91 to 01 Cobra, and that's going to change the appearance right there in front of your screen to those old school gauges. This one is also amazing, and it's just so nostalgic to see these type of gauges in your brand new Mustang GT, because like this is what a lot of folks back in the day were used to, and it looks really good in here. Also, it says this is the classic 67 to 68, which is true, but it also reminds me of how like the 06 GTs, when those came out, 05, 06 GTs, they kind of had a little dedication to this style of gauge cluster as well. So it also reminds me of those. This one, my personal favorite, the track one, especially if you're out there on the track, if you're legitimately on the track, ripping this car around, or like I would do, which is a nice country back road with some hills and some curves to it. You know, you can see everything, it's right in front of you. So this is really cool. And also I do love the full screen Apple CarPlay. This is so handy and everything is pretty responsive on this screen. So I do really like that a lot. This is a 6-speed, one of the only, if not the only sports car American made that you can get with a V8, brand new still today, and a manual transmission in. So that is impressive. It gives you a little more feel of the car, gets you really more connected to the vehicle. I love that this thing has rev matching. It sounds fantastic every time you downshift a gear and it rev matches for you. It's fantastic. What I also like about this thing too is this thing has no lift shifting. It does all of it for you. When you want to no lift shift, if you're going a straight line, whatever it is that you're doing, you can leave the throttle all the way down to the floor, push the clutch in, shift the gear, and it's going to cut some power out for you, but it allows you to no lift shift without breaking anything. And that's great for just a bone stock factory car. We're going to continue on. We're going to go for a drive in this vehicle. So we'll get some driving, we'll get some shifting, we'll get some acceleration, we'll do all that stuff. Let's hit it. All right, here we go. You're just going to film the whole time, Brad Pack?
Yep.
All right, we got top down. It is 73 degrees out here in Kansas City today. Beautiful day. Actually, couldn't have been a better day to do something like this. So immediately, I have the exhaust open. That's really, I love it. Love it a lot like that. And we'll get the exhaust sounds when we hit the highway, but I will give you an example of what they sound like in the different modes while we're here in the car, because I'm sure you'll be able to hear it. So, we have 40 miles till empty. Perfect opportunity to film the in-car footage while we go get some gas. Everyone pray for my man Brad Pack Media behind the camera, as he's going to film the entire time no matter how I'm driving.
This is arm day?
Arm day, baby. That's why Bradley started hitting the gym again, because we're really shooting on the YouTube stuff here. Trying to hit it pretty hard. Really just trying to come up with whatever video we can that we can pump out. So again, when Max Ford reached out and wanted to do car reviews on just different vehicles they have on the lot, you know, specifically new cars, we jumped all over that opportunity. That rev match is so good. It really, really is. So I had an 18 Mustang GT and 19 Mustang GT. Probably a lot of you don't know that. I actually wasn't doing social media back then. There was no Less Eco More Boost. That started in 2020. But my 18 was a MT82, just like this one. And then I switched to a 19 10R80. But specifically, I want to talk about the MT82. I did not have rev matching. That was the next year they put that on. So getting to experience it now is fantastic. Currently, right now, I have the old Fox body gauges up. I love them. Let's drive a little bit. The exhaust sounds so good. Mine's I flip my hat backwards, maybe. The exhaust sounds good. Everything is so good about this car. Like, it's not even a track pack or anything like that. So it has some 255, I think they're Continentals on this car, but they're really not bad. I mean, it's perfectly fine for the horsepower that it has. Pretty grippy. It smells like campfire out here. This is what you get out here in the middle of nowhere.
Love it.
The rev matching.
That is pretty wild.
So good. Gosh dang, that stock exhaust sounds magnificent with the valves open. And what's crazy is we'll turn it all the way down and we'll slow down and kind
of... I can't even hear it now.
No, it's
That's
quiet.
Wild.
No cars behind us, perfectly fine. The rev matching dissipates. It's still rev matching, but you can't hear it anymore.
That's crazy.
It's still good.
Yeah.
Even in quiet mode, it's still, I think it's really good.
It was actually a little bit louder under load than I would have thought.
I'm wondering if the valves don't open a little bit.
They must.
Under donkeys.
Here's some donkeys.
Being able to switch on the fly like that's awesome. Give her little beans right here. Runs great. I mean, it runs so strong for a bone stock car.
It feels fantastic.
It doesn't quit pulling. I'm not trying to make the quickest shifts that I possibly can. You know, I don't want to hurt the car. Not that it would, but it's not mine. I want to respect the car that they give us to drive.
For sure.
You know, if it was mine, I would definitely just let it absolutely eat. But we want to keep making these things for Max Motors. And the way to do that is to respect their stuff.
Is there anything you dislike about it?
Yeah, I will. There is one thing that majorly sticks out that I dislike, and it's not even just this vehicle, it was my 18, my 19. And I'm solely going to compare it to something like, let's talk about a Chevy Camaro interior. I am not a fan of, and I mentioned the Camaro because I do like their interior, but I'm not a fan of the Mustang interior. I don't like these things. I don't like all of this, I don't like all this hard plastic. I think there are things that could be changed in this realm. It is an upgrade from like my Mustang, my last two Mustang GTs. So it is better. I do like the leather wrap up here. I like the stitching. The steering wheel is better. I don't know. Yeah, it's not too big of a gripe. But if I were to gripe about anything, it would definitely be the materials probably. Like, I don't know, I want like a softer finish, maybe even stitching up here. Kind of like my Explorer ST. Like, that thing has great interior. It's really good. They've fixed a lot of the stuff on the Explorers from the outgoing model, the 2024s to the 25s, and that's kind of what I would like to have seen in here. The shifter, this to me feels like it has room to improve as far as feeling solid. Like, this doesn't, I don't know, it almost feels like a joystick rather, I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure. I'm just not a huge fan of this area or the shifter. Maybe, I just don't know, maybe something heavier. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for, heavier, not so flimsy, not so light. Something that that feels confident in between your shifts. It would honestly be really cool if they put a short throw in here from the factory, you know?
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool.
That's surprisingly loud for a factory exhaust.
I know.
That's ear piercing.
Alright guys, that wraps up our drive in this 2025 Mustang GT. Definitely surpassed expectations that I had. Runs really good, like I said, 486 horsepower is what Ford's claiming from the factory. Really sweet car. I want to give a huge shout out to Max Motors here in Richmond. I want to give a huge shout out to Ida Jakeaway and Dylan Wise for letting this happen, and we can't wait to see you on the next one. We'll see what vehicle that they give us next.